Take a look around today. Almost every country on Earth is fighting the same battle: obesity. Millions of people struggle to control their weight. Gyms sit on every corner. Diet plans flood the internet. Weight loss pills promise overnight miracles. And still, the numbers keep climbing. But now, picture stepping back 100,000 years. You walk into an ancient hunting camp. Kids are chasing each other. Hunters are coming home. Families are cooking the day's food. Everyone looks fit, strong, lean, and strangely enough, you scan the whole camp and can't spot a single overweight person. Why? Was it because ancient humans were built differently? Did they follow some hidden diet? Or is the truth far stranger than that? Researchers have spent decades examining ancient bones, studying surviving hunter-gatherer groups, and tracing the story of human evolution, and what they found might completely reshape how you think about eating. The first reason is more basic than people expect. Ancient humans couldn't eat on a whim. Today, food surrounds us constantly. Open a fridge, order from an app, swing by a drive-thru, or grab a snack from nearly any shop you pass. For our ancestors, none of that was an option. Every single meal had to be earned first. Sometimes, hunters tracked prey for hours, following faint footprints, moving silently through woods, open plains, and rugged hillsides. And even after spotting an animal, nothing was certain. One slip, and the meal vanished into the distance. Some days, the hunt simply failed. On those days, the whole group ate less. No backup takeout, no instant meals, no delivery drivers. Nature set the terms of when food showed up and when it didn't. But hunting was only one piece of the puzzle. While the hunters chased game, others were out foraging: roots, berries, nuts, wild fruit, leafy greens, wild honey. Every person in the group pitched in to find food. Kids picked it up by copying the adults. Even foraging demanded real skill. Pick the wrong berry, and it could kill you. One toxic mushroom could put the whole family at risk. Food wasn't a pastime. It was how you stayed alive, and maybe that's the sharpest contrast between them and us. Nowadays, people often eat out of boredom, out of stress, simply because food is within reach. Our ancient ancestors mostly ate because their bodies demanded it. Genuine hunger, not cravings, not routine, genuine hunger. And that one distinction may have changed everything that came after. Still, food wasn't the whole picture behind why ancient people stayed lean. In truth, their bodies were rarely still for long, and that's where the next part of the story starts. If ancient humans never tracked calories, never followed a diet plan, and never stepped into a gym, why were they almost never overweight? The answer comes down to movement, not workouts, movement. Today, countless hours pass, sitting in cars, sitting at desks, sitting on couches. Even leisure time usually means staying still. For our ancestors, the picture was completely reversed. From the second they woke, their bodies were already at work, trekking to the nearest river, gathering wood for the fire, foraging for edible plants, scaling hillsides, wading across streams, carrying young children, constructing shelters, maintaining tools. Every task cost real physical energy. No elevators existed, no bikes, no scooters, no cars. Getting somewhere meant walking there. Researchers estimate that hunter-gatherers typically covered somewhere between 10 and 15 kilometers nearly every day of their lives, some days even more. And the terrain wasn't gentle. They crossed dense woodland, steep hills, loose sand, thick mud, and deep ravines. Every stride cost energy. Yet walking was just the starting point. Hunters would pursue animals for hours on end, not through raw speed, but through sheer persistence. This technique, called persistence hunting, depended entirely on stamina. They kept moving until the animal, worn down, simply couldn't run anymore. Try to imagine chasing a single antelope beneath a blazing sun for most of a day. Very few people today would consider that an ordinary afternoon, but for our ancestors, it was nothing unusual, just another part of daily life. Gathering food was physical labor, too. Women would search the forest, digging up roots, picking wild berries, gathering nuts, hauling loaded baskets, all the way back to camp. And children weren't spared either. Instead of staying indoors, they scrambled over rocks, sprinted across open fields, practiced spear throwing, played games that quietly built up their muscles, their balance, their coordination. There were no youth sports leagues, no structured fitness classes. Daily life itself was the training program. Even downtime looked completely different. Ancient humans weren't scrolling for hours on glowing screens. When they finally rested, they fixed broken tools, sewed clothing, wove baskets, or told stories around a crackling fire. Their hands were rarely idle. Scientists refer to this as non-exercise activity. Tiny movements, repeated throughout the day, can add up to burning hundreds, sometimes thousands, of extra calories. Modern conveniences have quietly erased most of that movement. A washing machine handles the laundry, a car gets us to the office, an elevator does the climbing for us, meals show up right at our door. Our ancestors never had any of that. Ironically, the very comforts that make life easier now also make it easier to pack on weight. But movement alone doesn't tell the whole story. Ancient humans also ate in a completely different way. Their food was unprocessed, tied to the seasons, and nowhere near available around the clock. And that may be the sharpest divide of all. Take a moment and think about today's meals. Bread, rice, chips, chocolate, soda, cookies, fast food. Now ask yourself, how many of those existed 100,000 years ago? The honest answer, practically none of them. Ancient humans never strolled through a grocery store, they never had a fridge to open, and they definitely never ordered food through an app. Every single meal came straight from the wild. Craving meat, you had to hunt it down. Wanted fruit, you had to track it down yourself. Wanted honey, you risked getting stung just to get it. Nothing came easy. Researchers believe the diet of early humans shifted with the seasons. For one stretch of the year, berries might be abundant. A few weeks on, they'd vanish entirely. Some periods brought a successful hunt. Other times, the group survived mainly on roots, nuts, seeds, and whatever plants were available. This constant rotation delivered a wide range of nutrients. Unlike today, their food rarely contained much sugar. There were no candy aisles, no ice cream shops, no sugary cereal boxes. Even fruit itself was a different thing entirely. Wild fruit was tiny, barely sweet, and packed with far less sugar than what we grow today. Generations of farming have spent thousands of years breeding fruit to be bigger, sweeter, and easier to eat. Our ancestors never touched anything like it. Another key difference was processing. Ancient humans ate their food almost exactly the way they found it. No artificial flavoring, no preservatives, no refined sugar, no deep-fried anything, no ultra-processed snack foods. Their bodies took in real whole food, not manufactured products. Researchers also suspect ancient humans consumed considerably more fiber than the average person today. Fiber slows down digestion, keeps you feeling full longer, and curbs the urge to overeat, which meant even during times of plenty, they naturally stopped eating once they'd had enough. Perhaps the single biggest difference was simply this: food was never a guaranteed endless supply. Some days brought abundance, other days brought almost nothing. Their bodies adapted to handle either extreme. Today, most people can access food around the clock: breakfast, a snack, lunch, dessert, another snack, dinner, a midnight treat. Our brains still run on ancient wiring. Whenever calorie-dense food appears, we instinctively want more of it. That instinct once kept our ancestors alive, but in the world we live in now, it often works against us. Even so, diet wasn't the entire explanation. Ancient humans also slept in a completely different rhythm, and surprisingly, that rhythm may have played a real role in keeping them healthy and lean. These days, millions of people stay up well past midnight, watching shows, scrolling their phones, working late, or simply struggling to fall asleep. For ancient humans, life ran on a completely different clock. Once the sun went down, their day gradually wound to a close. The fire became the heart of the whole group. Families would gather around it, share their food, swap stories, fix tools, and map out the next day's hunt. There were no harsh lights keeping them alert, no glowing screens, no social feeds to scroll, just firelight and a sky full of stars. As the flames died down, their bodies naturally shifted toward sleep. Scientists believe this natural rhythm helped regulate the hormones that govern hunger, energy levels, and fat storage. Today, artificial lighting throws those same hormones off balance. Staying up late tends to leave people feeling hungrier the following day. It also fuels stronger cravings for sugary and calorie-dense foods. Our ancestors almost never dealt with that issue. Most nights, they fell asleep not long after dark and woke up as the sun came up. Their sleep was in sync with the nature's own clock. Another major difference came down to stress. Ancient humans absolutely faced real danger: predators, storms, injuries, stretches without food. But that kind of danger typically ended as soon as the threat passed. Modern stress works differently: bills, traffic jams, deadlines, an overflowing inbox, money worries, endless notifications. For many people, this stress never really lets up. Scientists have found that chronic stress elevates a hormone known as cortisol, and elevated cortisol can boost appetite, push the body to store more fat, and make shedding weight significantly harder. Ancient humans dealt with short, intense bursts of stress, and then they bounced back. Today, so many people never fully recover. Even their sleep gets disrupted constantly. Poor sleep, layered with ongoing stress, creates the ideal setup for gaining weight. But maybe the biggest edge ancient humans had was that they actually listened to their own bodies. They ate when true hunger hit. They rested when exhaustion set in. They moved whenever staying alive demanded it. Their whole routine was dictated by nature, not by a clock on the wall. Of course, life back then wasn't ideal. Countless ancient humans died far too young. Infections, injuries, brutal weather made simply surviving a daily struggle. No one should look back and romanticize that era. But when it comes specifically to staying lean, their way of life worked surprisingly well. So, if ancient humans rarely gained excess weight, is there anything modern people can actually learn from them? The answer might surprise you. So, why didn't ancient humans end up overweight? It wasn't some miracle food some secret workout, or superior genetics. It came down to their entire way of living. They were in motion, almost nonstop, not because they were chasing a calorie burn, but because movement was baked into survival. They walked, they climbed, they hauled, they hunted, they gathered, they built, they collected water, day after day. Food had to be earned. It never just appeared. There were no supermarket aisles, no vending machines, no 2 a.m. snack runs. When food ran short, they simply waited until more turned up. What they ate was whole, fresh, seasonal, and almost never processed. They barely touched added sugar, almost no refined flour, and none of the ultra-processed products that line today's grocery shelves. Their sleep followed the pattern of sunrise and sunset. Their stress tended to pass quickly, not the nonstop pressure so many people carry today. So does that mean we should try to live exactly like they did? Of course not. Modern life has handed us extraordinary advantages: hospitals, medicine, clean, safe water, secure housing, education, and technology. Our ancestors would have looked at all of this as nothing short of magic. Even so, their way of life still has something to teach us. Move more, even if it's just walking. Get outside regularly, stick to a consistent sleep schedule, choose more whole, natural foods, and keep in mind that the human body was shaped over hundreds of thousands of years, living immersed in nature. Our surroundings changed almost overnight, but our biology is still trying to keep up. Maybe that explains why simple habits like walking, sleeping well, and eating whole foods still deliver such a powerful impact on our health. Ancient humans had no concept of counting calories. They'd never heard of a diet plan or a gym membership or a fitness influencer, and yet, without even trying, they built a way of life that kept them naturally lean. The goal here isn't to recreate every piece of ancient life. Few of us would choose to face wild predators, brutal winters, or long stretches without food. Instead, the real goal is understanding why the human body evolved the way it did, because sometimes looking backward still offers the clearest lessons for moving forward. If you enjoyed discovering how ancient humans stayed lean without gyms or diet plans, don't forget to hit like on this video, subscribe for more deep dives into ancient humans, human evolution, archaeology, and the hidden history of everyday life. And let us know in the comments, which ancient habit do you think we should bring back today? Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next journey into the ancient world.